Thank you very much. Now, at this stage, I'd like to start getting the audience involved. So I'd like to actually ask a question on behalf of Mr. Wahab Sani, who wrote a question. And he said, he didn't say who it is addressed to, and so I will leave it to you gentlemen to decide who wants to take the first stab at this. He said, specifically, sir, what policy or policies will you implement that will promote industrial development in the country, protect investors and their investments when voted in as the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Maybe we should let the businessman start. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. The first thing we need to do is begin to get institutions to do that which they were set out or set up to do. Stop the bleeding. There's so much, you know, we've been faced with 12 years of PDP government, and they have this tendency to come to you on the eve of an election to tell you what they will do for the next 4 years, forgetting that which they told you 4 years ago they haven't done. We need to stop this and get serious. Stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Stop the hemorrhage. There's so much leakage going on here. When you look at the 8 years of PDP under President Obasanjo, everything was that there will be 10,000 megawatts. Nothing came. Now we are having another 4 years coming to a close, and what they are saying is no longer 10,000, it's now 4,000. On the eve of their departure, that's when they are rolling out the thing. It's not going to happen.
We're going to get a chance, I think, a little bit later to go a little more into the economy, because I have to be very careful of the time. You know what it is like. I'll be accused of giving someone more time than the other.
Okay. So is my time over on this question now?
Yes, it is.
All right, then let somebody else carry on.
Yes, just because for rebuttals, you just have the 1 minute, if you remember the documents that we sent out. But we have a whole section that we're going to discuss the economy, so hopefully that will come up again. So, yes. Pastor Bakari.
Well, I like to say Nigeria is not poor because our people do not work hard. The contrary is true. Our people work very hard, but our productivity is very low because of the environment in which we are operating. Doing business, or the cost of doing business, is very prohibitive in Nigeria. And as a policy, when the CPC gets into power, we're going to maintain sound macroeconomic policy environment, run an efficient government, and preserve the independence of the central bank. Amongst those things we want to do is to restore financial confidence by putting in place a more robust monitoring, supervising, and regulating of the financial institutions, so that the kind of tsunami that swept depositors' funds within the Nigerian banking sector will not happen again.
Now, I'd like to come back once Mr. Oyegun has actually done his initial response to the issue of the central bank and the role and the issues around the banks. But let's just hear Mr. Oyegun to sort of respond to the initial question.
Thank you. Very briefly, I agree with my friend Fola largely again. We have had 12 wasted years. 12 years of totally visionless governance. 12 years of lack of seriousness, total lack of seriousness. In terms of, they make speeches, beautiful speeches, well written. I'm sure a lot of the speeches, they are seeing them for the first time when they read them. So it's not as if they reflect their own beliefs. So you cannot attract foreign, even local investment, unless you have power. We don't have. No nation can grow if it is not powered. China today builds one power station every 3 days. 3 days. That is what is propelling their growth. India is all over Africa looking for raw materials and looking for sources of power, fuel, and the rest of it. 2, corruption. Like Pastor said, the cost of doing business in Nigeria is phenomenal. We buy things we can import directly from Togo, from Dahomey, and from Benin, because they are low-cost economies. They bring these things at genuine prices. 3,
Now,
policy uncertainty.
Yes, I'm going to have to stop you because I have to be fair. Everybody had a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we will go back, I think, to the issue of the Nigerian economy because I think it's so important and so central to achieving development and changing the lives of ordinary Nigerians. So maybe we'll start the next block on specific issues. But listening to you now, it struck me that a lot of things you're generally in agreement with, and yet, you know, you are all standing for just one position. What makes you different from each other? The three of you standing on stage.
No. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
And we have to be
are
quick.
we not saying the
30
same
seconds.
thing? Even the PDP is saying, yes. They never have said, no, they don't want Nigeria to develop. They never have said, oh, they don't want Nigeria to have power. But you look at the seriousness, the sincerity, and the vision of the leadership, which the NPP is offering. Vision, seriousness.
Quickly, because I have to go to a break very soon.
I would like to repeat what I said before. Nigeria is not poor because we are not working hard. We are not poor because we lack natural resources. We are poor and the cost of doing business is prohibitive because of poor choices by leadership who use those resources and the power they possess for self and not for national development.
Adiola?
By antecedent, Nuhu Ribadu and Fola Adiola have never made a public statement that they never backed by action. We can implement, we can execute.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are going to take another break, and when we come back, we will look in a little bit more detail at the issue of the Nigerian economy.